what we have learned about Canvas, and I will start off by saying, come on, really? I see the light blinking on the thing. All right, oh, luckily I have a keyboard. Really? All right, I'm gonna try one more time, and then I'm just gonna advance it manually through that interface there. Okay. My name is Gregory Beyrer, and I'm here because I teach a class called Introduction to Teaching with Canvas for the @ONE program. @ONE is a state-supported, State Chancellor's Office-supported organization for professional developments here in California's community colleges. And I'm going to talk today about some of the things that those of us who have taken this course have learned about Canvas and how to use Canvas. So this is kind of like a collection of tips and tricks. But to get started, and I may just do hands because they're the right amount of people for that, I'm actually going to ask you a question. I have a very special thank you to make as part of this. So I'd like you to break out your devices and go to this website, kahoot.it, and I've got a one-question quiz, one-question survey. This is before we begin. I'm going to click the Start Now button because I want you to get the code number. Yeah, Kahoot.it. It's going to be up on the, there we go. So if you're online, you can't hear the sound coming through the computer. It's cute little music for this part, but I hope you can contribute it as well if we have any viewers online. This session is being broadcast via Canvas Live.
It wants a nickname. Do I just make up a nickname?
Yeah.
Okay.
668-501 is the actual thing here. And I'm going to go ahead and click. So we've got 9 people, 10. That's perfect. That's enough. So I've got one question, basically. And the first question is, do you want me to do the special thank you right now or at the end of the presentation?
Right now.
Special thank you. Okay, so 7 of you who voted to do it right away, so I'll go ahead and do that. And I will go ahead, oh, come on. Really?
Those 7 of us were the ones who failed that Stanford test where you...
That what? Yeah. Okay, so here's the special thank you. As I mentioned, I've been teaching this class for @ONE. I've been doing it for a couple of years. The people who have discovered these tips and tricks are the people who have been in this class. So this is not normally what I teach as part of the class. This is what has come up during the discussions in particular. And these represent 30 classes that I've been teaching, representing 151 colleges and schools. So more than just California community colleges. 793 participants. I just updated this number. I did this presentation at OTC this summer earlier, but I did teach a couple classes over the summer. It is a lot of discussion posts. So the special thank you, I thank you for attending the session, but in particular, the following people who were here doing this class. And they really do deserve the thanks because they've helped us do this as well. So the course is divided into 4 units or 4 modules. One is an introduction, kind of like welcome to Canvas. This is how you get started. It also, the other units are on course content, then communication and assessment. And in the class, the participants they take quizzes on kind of the basic stuff, how to learn how to use stuff in Canvas. They do hands-on activities. So for example, they create an announcement. That's part of what's one of the examples in the first unit. And then most importantly, and this is reflected in how the course is graded, and also by far where the greatest value comes from is the discussion. So when people are asked to reflect on introduction, what are your first impressions of Canvas, or how do you plan on organizing your content, or what kind of communications and assessment methods have you used for students. And so what I'm going to do for this session, I have divided the 12 tips and tricks, so 3 for each of these units. I'm going to ask you to pick which one you want me to demonstrate live in front of you. And again, it's children, live animals, and software, 3 things not to do in front of a live audience. So I will do one of those for sure. Although, sorry? Yeah, I'll be asking you to vote using Kahoot 4 times to demonstrate this. And if your chosen tip or trick does not get selected for demonstration, don't despair, because I have a website I'm going to share with you at the end that has everything. So I'll go ahead and start off by sharing a quote. These are from actual users who took these classes, and from, I'm part of the OEI advisory committee. I don't know if I mentioned that before, but when we set up the OEI, of course, it's all about our students and helping them complete their degrees in a timely manner. And one of the ways we do that, of course, is that there's a common course management system or learning management system, which we know is happening thanks to the excellent selection we made with Canvas by Instructure. But of course, the other people who benefit are faculty. And we have a number of freeway flyers across the state, and they have really appreciated how they can focus on learning and becoming proficient with a single system. So that's something that is really neat. So during the first unit, the 3 tips that I'd like you to, again, vote on which one you want me to demonstrate for you live. Course nicknames on the dashboard. Quickly view which announcements students can see, or use the magic of undelete to resurrect deleted material from your classes. And so I'm going to go to Kahoot and give you a new code number. Yeah, it'll be a new code number. And so again, which tip or trick would you like me to demonstrate for you live for this the first unit, Introduction to Canvas? And this time the code number is 670514. I do realize you need to type in a new nickname, so perhaps, but it remembered you. Okay, good. So Kahoot's smarter than I am. And I'll get some magic number that's in my head somewhere, and then I'll start the voting. Okay, I'll start with 7. So Introduction to Canvas. And I'm sorry, I didn't explain how the voting works. So you're going to actually vote, and you're going to tell me for each of these 3 tricks, each of these tips, you're going to say, I already knew this. That's the red button. You're going to say, someone I know will like this, or the yellow button is worth the price of admission. And so whichever of those tips or tricks gets the most yellow votes, I will demonstrate live for you. If there's a tie, I'll decide which one I'd want to demonstrate. And again, it's red for I already knew this, and blue for someone I know will like this. So course nicknames on the dashboard got 3 reds and 1 yellow. Okay, so I'm going to remember that yellow. It's already, you've already done all 3?
No, it X's out. While you were explaining how to do it.
Now it's going to question 2.
There we go. Sorry about that. I should have remembered that. So I got one person who said, so yellow means you want me to demonstrate it, basically.
It's
Oh,
670514. How'd you find that?
I had it on the prior screen.
Oh, she remembered.
Yeah.
It shows at the top.
Does it show at the top of this screen now?
No.
It doesn't,
Shows at
okay.
the top of
Okay, so 1 for quickly view which announcements students can see. And then the third option is use the magic of undelete to resurrect deleted material. Okay, I'll go ahead and end it. And 10 of you selected that one, so that's the one that I will demonstrate live. Okay, now I will try to do this live. Fortunately, I have a class already open and logged in. This is the course I'll be sharing with everyone at the end of the thing. So you'll be able to see demonstrations and video recordings if necessary for all these things. So I'm going to go into my assignments. And I have this assignment called Document Analysis 1. And you'll see that there's a bunch of stuff there. And I may be using this again later today. But I'm going to go ahead and go back to my assignments page. And I'm going to delete that item. And it's going to say, are you sure you want to delete it? And guess what? It's gone. I can't recover it, right? I think I've lost it. One of the things that we learned about Canvas is the magic of undelete. So if you take your course URL, the course URL for Canvas always ends in a number. So it'll have yourinstitution.instructure.com. And I don't mean the vanity URL that you may have for logging in like we have in Los Rios, but the actual URL that Instructure uses. So again, it'll be yourinstitution.instructure.com/courses/some number. At the end of that number, of course, there's a slash. You type the word undelete, and Canvas will show you all of the items that you have deleted, and you'll be able to recover those. Okay? Would you like me to repeat that? Yeah. Yeah. So we've asked Instructure how long is stuff retained, and they say forever. They don't ever delete stuff. I remember during the selection process asking Instructure, what's your policy for deleting old courses? And they never do it, right? Because they just spin up more servers and they use Amazon, and apparently that Amazon is endless and will never be depleted.
Basically replace whatever the things after the slashes with yes.
Yeah. So again, to kind of go through again what I did was I deleted an assignment. You can see it's not listed there, Document Analysis 1. I want to bring it back. So three things to kind of point out. Number one is no student work, or you shouldn't count on student work coming back. I have heard mixed comments on that, though, whether that actually works. But you shouldn't count on student work coming back. Number two, it is forever, and there's no limit to the number of, number three, there's no limit to the number of items that are there. So did I have a question in the back?
Does an administrator have to enable this option, or is it by default anybody can do it, like the teachers?
The instructor can, yeah.
So administrator does not need to enable this.
And administrators could go into the courses too, and they could do stuff because administrators have instructor access to the courses.
But they don't have to do anything to enable. They don't have to give us permission to do it.
Correct. You don't have to give it. Yeah, this is a hidden feature. It's an undocumented feature that yeah.
Canvas representative said you couldn't do it explicitly. You couldn't undelete something.
Okay. So it's not a good habit to delete stuff, but just in case, right? So again, to repeat, it's the URL for the course, courses/some number / the word undelete, and then I will go ahead and restore is the button, this Document Analysis 1. Are you sure you want to? Yes, I am. Now if I go back to my assignments page, it is there again. Notice that it's unpublished, so it does come back unpublished. Another question, yeah.
So if I'm in a course and do undelete, is it going to show everything that is deleted in that course, or everything that is deleted by the instructor?
Everything in this course that's been deleted, yeah. Yeah, that's right. So you do have to do this one course at a time. Okay, good. All right, so let's go back to the presentation. So and the next unit was on content. And we know that our students do benefit from and appreciate the availability of content when they're not actually in class. And so this should be a no-brainer for those of us who have used the learning management system. And so again, we recognize that as well. The three tips that I have an option for course content. One is easily finding caption videos on YouTube. Two is putting an image rotator on a content page. And three is using tabs on a content page. So
What do you mean by image rotator? Yeah.
an image rotator is a slideshow where the images kind of rotate endlessly. You can loop a slideshow.
The image rotator, is that accessible? You know how on the accessibility part, I heard that when it moves, it's not.
I believe that it is, and I'm going to say that it is, and so therefore it is.
Okay.
And
Yes.
so easily captioned videos, do you mean appropriately captioned?
Yes, thank you. Easily, appropriately captioned videos on YouTube. So I'm going to again go through the Kahoot, but this time I'm going to make sure I say the right way to do it, and that is, when I open up the Kahoot website, and I'll make sure I pause a few seconds on the code, you're going to have 3 questions, right? And it's going to be on each of those 3 tips. 1 is caption videos, easily find caption videos. 2 is image rotator, and 3 is using tabs on a content page. For each of those 3, I'm going to ask you to vote whether you already know about it, whether someone you work with will like it, or whether it's worth the price of admission. And whichever one gets the most worth the price of admission will be demonstrated live. And my problem today isn't the software, it's me, of course. OK, so I'm going to open up the Kahoot page. OK, the buttons, the code's not here yet. It's on the next page. It's on the next page. Here we go. OK. I won't start it until 981251. So I won't start it until I get some number of people who are logged in. 981251. Kahoot, by the way, is free. And it's a great way to build in interaction with your audience.
Do they have a way, like if you're doing an online course and you have a little voluntary part that's actually synchronous? I mean, I assume there's no asynchronous way you can use it, right, in an online course?
There's no what?
Asynchronous way you can use Kahoot?
There is actually. You can do an asynchronous Kahoot, yeah. You can keep it open and do it that way, yeah. I would never use Kahoot for something that actually counts for grades.
No.
Because this is Kahoot. It's not, right? It's not. Unless the folks at Kahoot, I don't know where .it is, but yeah. OK, I got 10, so I'm going to go ahead and start the thing. Again, remember there are 3 questions in the poll. So are you ready for content? So easily find captioned YouTube videos. Is this, I already knew this, someone I know will like this, or worth the price of admission? And I think Kahoot will close the question as soon as everyone answers it. So that's great. There you go. OK, so I got 5 for that one. 5 for easily captioned videos. OK, the next question. Put an image rotator on a content page. And 5 is the number to beat. OK. So I have a tie here. I think I got more blues on this one. So image rotator is winning right now. Let's see if the last one beats it. Image rotator using tabs on a content page.
Very clever.
Nice picture.
OK, let's see which one won. This one won, of course. Y'all had to pick the one that required the most work. You understand that, right? OK.
I mean, I want to know the others too. But I don't want this one. You already know the answer.
Here's what I want to do. So I had this assignment called document analysis. Now I said content page. I should have said rich content editor, of course, because this is the thing in the rich content editor. And if I look at this, you may notice that this page is relatively long, right? And I've got sections, though. I've got a section called instructions. I've got a section called resources. That's a header 2 that separates these guys. And then I've got a section here called sample and template. So this is for my writing assignments in my history class, right? I tell them what they're doing. I've got resources, so that's a link out to our awesome library resource guide that our librarians created for my class. And then I give my students a template, and also, of course, I don't do the rubric because we have rubrics in Canvas separate from that. So I give them a template, and I give them some instructions on how to use that. And I like having this information on the same page where they do the assignment, because that's good practice, right? The information the students need is there the moment they need it. But I also would like to have, I don't like really long pages. And so how do I break that up? Well, I'm going to go ahead and use tabs. So how I do that is I go to the Canvas Commons, And there are lots of people in Canvas Commons who have shared sample pages with tabs. I happen to have shared one myself, so I'll search for myself and find it that way. What tabs does is it takes advantage of the CSS that's built into Canvas. So they use tabs themselves. In fact, if you haven't noticed this before, on the, what am I looking for here? I'm used to my old computer. That's it. On the settings page, of course, they use tabs, right? There's tabs for course details, sections, navigations, and all that. This is actually one really long web page we're looking at, but because of CSS, it makes it look shorter for us, so they use tabs. So what I do is in the Canvas Commons, I will do a search, and the search, I will actually just search for me. Beyrer is my last name, B-E-Y-R-E-R. And you can search if you don't know about the Canvas Commons. It's a place for anyone who uses Canvas anywhere in the world to create and share stuff that's inside Canvas. And it's a great way to share content and to share examples. You can find an entire course. You can find just a single quiz. You can search by keywords, so it's the author's name. It's also by topic. And you can limit your search for a level. So I could do the K to, it's from K all the way to graduate level. But I just searched for me, and so I have an item here called sample page with tabs. And on the sample page with tabs, when I select it, I can, again, read the description, etc., but I can import it directly into a course on this server. So I'm going to import it into this course called What We Have Learned About Canvas. So I will click in the checkbox to say, yes, I want that course. The other option I have is there's a download button, so I could download this onto my local computer and then import it into a Canvas course, perhaps on another server, if I'm logged into a different server. And then I will click the import button. Okay. It's already done because this is a pretty small item, but it does let me know that it might take a little bit of time for the item to be fully imported into my course. What's nice about using the Canvas Commons is if the original author of that resource makes a change, you get a notification that it's been updated, and you get an option to import the updated thing. So I'm going to go back into my course and go to the Pages tool. And if I click on View All Pages, there will be a sample page with tabs, right? Sample page with tabs is there. So I'm actually going to go straight there because I'm going to copy and do some, I have to do some HTML editing for this to work. But I'm going to go into the sample page with tabs. I can see there's tab 1, right? Tab 2, tab 3. I'm going to click the edit button, and I'm going to go straight to HTML editor and copy all that code. Okay. Again, I imported the asset from Canvas Commons into my class. It was a sample page, so it's in the Pages tool that I find it. I edited it. I'm grabbing the HTML. I'm going to go back into that assignment called Document Analysis 1. And in effect, repeat it going the other direction. So I'll edit it. Go to HTML view. And I'm going to insert my HTML code that I just copied into the very top. OK. What's most important that I don't do is I don't break up the div tags, because that's how the CSS is used to separate the stuff. So I can see up here that I have at the very top of the page, right, a header that says header text appears at the top of each tab. I'll show you that when we go back into Rich Content Editor view. But I'm going to focus first of all on the HTML view. So I have my list at the top that says tab 1, tab 2, tab 3. I'm going to replace those with my 3 headers from my original item, which were instructions. That's H2. I'm going to scroll down a little bit, and I'm going to see my other H2, which is sample and template. And that was the second one, a third one rather. And the second one was, I think, resources. So I'll replace the words tab 1 with instructions. Oops. Replace tab 2 with resources. And replace tab 3 with sample and template. Or maybe I'll just say the word template, because I can't remember exactly what it is. Okay. So far I've done one small part of it, right? I've got it, I'm working on the code. I've just replaced the links at the top. Those are going to be the tabs across the top. Then I can again replace the same thing where it says tab 1 in the H2 and replace the same words there. Instructions, tab 2, resources, and then tab 3, template. Okay. Now I need to replace the actual content. So I've got some sample content there that says tab 1, content paragraph 1, tab 1, content paragraph 2. Staying in HTML view, I'm going to arrow down and find that tab 1 instructions. Here we go. So I'm going to take not the H2 instructions, right, because I've already retyped that. And I'm going to keep going down until I find the next H2, which is called resources. So I've got all this code selected. I'm going to do my keyboard shortcut, Control X for cut. Come back to the top. Select my tab 1, content paragraph 1, tab 2, content paragraph 2, being mindful of the div tab not to get rid of that, and do my Control V for paste, and we'll do that. Okay, and I'm going to repeat that for tabs 2 and 3, which is, again, resources and then a template. And I'm going to give myself a little bit of white space here, so it'll help me make it easier for me to see that. Okay. And as I'm doing this, I'm going to go ahead and say again that we're recording the session, so all the mistakes I'm making right now will be there for eternity. But in addition, I have some videos. This is all in video within the web page I'm going to share with you at the end. Okay, so again, I'm being mindful of the H2, that's the heading for my content that I've already put there. And then I'm replacing, keeping mindful of the div tag. Okay, there's my second tab. And then my final one is sample and template. There we go, sample and template. That's okay. Go all the way to the bottom. Cut. Okay, come up here. My final thing, hit tab, paste rather. Get rid of these extra H2s, right? Because that was from the original stuff that I copied over before. Okay, now if I switch over to Rich Content Editor, I'll see one long page. And this won't look much different than what I had before, because it's all here in Rich Content Editor. You don't see the tabs. That's only when you're viewing the page after you've saved it. So what I'm going to do here, and what I'm highlighting here, is the header text and the footer text. At the very top of the page, right, you see this sentence that says, header text appears at the top of each tab. What we've noticed from using this is that sometimes students won't look at each of the tabs. So I'll write something like, make sure you view all of the tabs, content on each tab, okay? And I'm going to just copy that sentence because I'm going to repeat it at the bottom. And there's sample footer text as well. And before I save, I'm going to show you, I'm going to go back to HTML view and kind of just make one more point about the code. The header text appears before the first div tag, and the footer text appears after the last div tag is closed. And so therefore, that header text will always appear at the top of the page. The footer text will always appear at the bottom of the page. And now I'll click the Save button, and I'll cross my fingers and hope that I didn't make any mistakes. And there's my tabs, instructions, resources, template. And if I scroll to the bottom of this window here, I will see there's my footer tab, right? My footer text, rather. And we saw the header text at the top. OK, so that's, again, adding tabs. Yeah, any questions?
If you're looking at this on a phone, do they see the tabs at the top or no?
Great question. Canvas is responsively designed, so if a student is looking at this on a phone, it'll all just be one long page. And the links will still be links at the top. So at these tabs, as you saw, right, they were hyperlinks. So students could click on this within the phone view and it would jump straight to that section of the page.
Anchor links.
Yeah, exactly. They're like anchor links. I have read a critique of this that there is not automatically, for the phone viewer, there is not a way to go back to the top, right? Like there might be if I was manually putting it in. So they'd have to swipe back up, yeah. Okay, all right. All right, you're welcome. Again, you picked the one that was the most work, so the other ones were less. Okay, so communication, right? How do we communicate with our students and how do we use Canvas tools to build that community of learners? One of the things a participant noticed is she said in her face-to-face classes, she found, so we know that discussion is great for building community in an online class. As Jared noted in this keynote earlier today about the benefit that asynchronous communication has, right, for students who who may need more time composing and saying something to their classmates. One of the instructors in these classes noticed that her students in her face-to-face classes were doing things like spending all their time with their devices and not even engaging in the kind of before and after class communication that I remember being an undergrad so long ago. This benefit is there for face-to-face classes as well. So in this unit on communication, the three kind of tips and tricks: manage conversations with email, so using the email tool to manage your conversations, that's the rough email equivalents in Canvas. Keeping discussion via email clean, and I don't mean clean in a content sort of way, but I mean clean in a keep the page clean sort of way. And then finally, making sure that your course event is on the course calendar. So 2 more Kahoots here. So this is for Unit 3. So which demo for communication? Again, for the code is 107027, 107027. And for each of those 3 tips, I'm going to ask you whether it's something you already knew about, something you think a coworker would like to learn, or whether it's worth the price of admission. Okay, I think 7 is my magic number, but we've been hitting 10, so let's go ahead and, all right, I'll start with 9. So for course communication, the first demonstration, managing conversations with email. So using your email client to manage your use of the conversations tool. Red for I already knew this, blue for someone I know will like this, or yellow or gold, worth the price of admission. Okay, I got 3 for that one. So that's manage conversations with email. 3 is the number to beat for the next one, which is keeping discussions via email clean. Clean discussions via email. Okay. So that's 6, keeping discussions via email clean. And then finally, making sure your event is on the course calendar. 6 is the number to beat. Okay, so we want discussions again. All got to pick the one with the, okay. So here's what can happen with discussions via email. I'm going to show you the bad way, and then I'm going to show you the good way. And I need to open my mail page. And I subscribe to all my discussions, so I have a message from a student here. New comment for introductions, right? And it says, hello, I'm Eleanor. Dad can't stop talking about the time he saved Mr. Frodo from that big spider. So if I'm replying to a classmate on discussion, so this is on the discussion, you can reply via email. And I can just say, welcome to the class, Eleanor. Okay, I might say something more profound, and I'll go ahead and click send and send an archive.
Wait, how did you get to the email from there as opposed to just answering the email thing?
I'm sorry?
How did you get to the email from the discussion?
I didn't actually. That was all entirely within email. So if I look at my discussions here, right?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I thought you said you started the discussion and then.
Right. I should have been on this page first, I think. So introductions, you can see that I have subscribed to this email. That's what the green check mark means. And if I look at my introductions now, I'll see that I have a message from Frodo. And I also have an introduction from, there's the bad one right there, actually. So I replied to Frodo via email. And what you see here, what I don't like about this interface, or replying via email, the dirty part, is that if you don't clean out the original message that you're replying to, right, that's an email thing, then the original message gets copied to the discussion post. So again, you'll see that the same thing happens in my reply to Eleanor. Okay? So let me go back into Gmail and let me show you the right way to do that. And let's find that message from Eleanor. Oh, you know. Okay, so again, here's this message that I got from Eleanor Gamgee. So because I'm subscribing to this and because I get notifications via email, I can do what I'm showing to you right now. And I can go ahead and reply within my email clients. The main thing that I need to do is get rid of the trim. So this is Gmail, which makes it a little bit easier. But what I want to do is I want to get rid of all of the message that I'm replying to. Okay, so I'm going to just select all, get rid of that, and I'll try this again. Welcome, Eleanor, to the class. Sometimes our elders never let go of the glories of their past. Okay? So again, what I've done here is I'm replying via email to a discussions post, and I have cleared the trimmed, that's what Gmail calls it, trimmed content, but I've basically gotten rid of all of the message that I'm replying to. I hit the send button, and within a few seconds, when I come back to this introduction, and I go ahead and refresh, and I refresh because I'm waiting for Google this time. There we go. Nope, not yet. So this is where I get the opportunity to practice patience again. But this time I'm waiting for Google because I have the option turned on not to send immediately when I click send, to wait a few seconds because just in case I send that angry email at 3 in the morning complaining about something.
Now, if you click on red, it'll show just the amendments, right?
Right. Oh, and there it is right there. Because I've deleted, I don't know what that is. But you can see the message there from me, right, replying to Eleanor. I think because I replied to a message that I had deleted previously. Yeah. Okay. Would you like me to demonstrate that again, or does that make sense?
It makes sense.
Makes sense? Okay. By the way, you got a twofer because I just showed you how to reply to conversations as well, using the same thing, managing email. Okay. All right. I got one more unit, and that's assessment. So the quote I have for an assessment. I got to say that I love teaching. I love lecturing. I have the passion for my topic. I teach history, which of course is the most important subject that anyone can take. And I enjoy course design. I love solving problems with technology. I don't yet love grading. So I don't quite understand this perception. So the three tips and tricks for assessments. One is how to require a practice quiz. So make sure they get that minimum score before they're ready to take the chapter exam. Give zeros to all who did not submit a particular assignment. And then finally, how to quickly copy an assignment. So I've got an assignment that I want to make multiple copies of. And again, we'll do one more Kahoot on this. So this is for assessment. Okay, the pin this time is 694513, 694513. I went through a lot of prep work with Kahoot as I was getting ready for this presentation, and the reason that I don't have the same Kahoot for the whole thing is I want to be able to look at the results, right, to decide which thing to do. And so therefore, I had to have 4 different Kahoots. And of course, I added the initial one. Why? So that y'all would have practice doing something where it would be lower stakes than subjecting me to the potential embarrassment of doing it incorrectly. Okay, so I'll go ahead and hit start. Unifor Assessment. So again, the 3 options, requiring a practice quiz, something you already knew about, something a coworker would like to know about, and if it's or is it worth the price of admission? Okay. I just gave myself a 5-minute warning. We've got 4 for requiring a practice quiz. Giving zeros to all who did not submit an assignment. So we're looking to beat 4. Okay, 5 zeros to all who did not submit an assignment. And then quickly copying an assignment, we're looking to do 5. Quickly making an exact copy of something. Okay. Giving zeros to everyone who did not submit an assignment. I just remember, which one? Those are pretty close votes. Again, they're all demonstrated in the resource I'm going to share with you at the end. So in this case, I'm going to go to my grades page. And I love the what if feature for students, right? They have the what if they get a certain grade. Or we also know that students, when they look at their grades, they decide whether they look at their grade as of this moment or their grade for for the entire class. But of course, that grade for the entire class is going to be, or that grade for this moment will be most useful if there are zeros for the assignments they didn't do. So I have a student here, and I've already done this, of course. I'm going to go ahead and give Eleanor a score, and I'm going to say that she got a 10. Okay. So Eleanor did the lesson 1 discussion. She got 10 out of 15, but none of her classmates did. And I want to make sure that they see those zeros because this assignment's already due, and I don't give late grades. And so what you can do from the grades view is you can click on the little triangle inside a circle that appears up there. I wish I knew the official name for that. And you can click on that, and one of the options is set default grade. Okay, so you can get set the default grade for the entire class. So it's, as most things in Canvas, once you know where to click, it's pretty easy to do. Set default grade. I'm going to go ahead and just type a 0 for that. I'm going to click in there. I'm going to type a 0. I will not overwrite already entered grades. Okay. Set default grade, and now all of my students have their properly earned 0. There we go. And it tells me the number of scores that are updated as well. So I have 9 students in the class. 8 of them got the update. And so there we go. Okay. Mute and unmute. Okay, thanks. So the other thing, here's a bonus item that you may not have known. So I can tell you from my experience as an undergrad, it would have bugged me to know that my classmates got their assignments back before I did, right? And in Canvas, by default, as soon as you hit a grade like Eleanor, she just got that 10 points notification right away. So to help forestall the unanticipated anxiety that I don't wish for there to be, on that same menu, one of the options is to mute the assignment. And when an assignment is muted, students don't get any notifications regarding the assignments. So you can take your time grading, and your students won't get any notifications. You can make mistakes, like I sometimes do with typos on my comments, and then come back. I can record my audio and say, oh my gosh, I need to do that again. And then when you can see that the assignment's been muted because of the bell icon with a line through it, you can then go back to the same place and then unmute an assignment. This same option is visible in SpeedBeater, so it's not just on the grade space. When you look in SpeedBeater, there's the little bell icon. But I'll tell you one thing I've learned as well. At the moment you unmute the assignment, every student in the class gets a notification that says the assignment's been unmuted. So, what do I do? Do I really want my students knowing that I finished my grading at 1 a.m.? I'm not sure that I care so much about that. That's not what I'm worried about. What I'm worried about is a student who immediately replies back to me saying,
Yes.
Now you're out, so what did I
Exactly.
do?
So, therefore, I have to remember when to unmute my stuff too. Okay. So, let me go ahead and I'm going to skip through to the last, because we've already done the special thank yous. And I'm sorry, I do have one more quote, and I think this one's from a student. No, this is one from us, and then I got one from a student coming up. Right? How can we expect to put the time in to learn meaningfully? How can we expect them to put the time in if we don't put the time to teach meaningfully? Here's the last quote from a student. And again, as we know, students do appreciate this. I can tell you that my full-time job as a professional developer, as a state coordinator for CRC, I've been there for 18 years now, or 17 years. My happiest moments, I don't mind sharing this, are when my peers come up to me and say, Greg, what is this Blackboard /D2L/Canvas thing that my students are telling me they want me to use because I know that the students appreciate it. Okay, now I'm going to skip forward because you all picked that, and I'm going to say thank you again for attending this session. That URL is to that course I just shared with you, and that course has links to whether it's a Canvas guide document or whether it's a video on how to do all 12 of the tips and tricks that I shared today. So they're all there. Thanks again.
Hold on, let me
and-
copy that.